the red peppers are grown in a beautiful greenhouse right on the grounds of Tingledom Castle. So they are very local. Tingles with flyby. Daily ASMR videos. Now that you have been served your dinner, I will begin to tell you the story of this meal. So feel free to chomp away on your delicious paella as I tell you how this wonderful dish has come about. So we have in our paella 12 wonderful ingredients, and I'm going to take you piece by piece through where they originate from. First is, of course, our chorizo sausage, a very key component of this particular version. We know it's not the most authentic, but in my opinion, it does make it one of the most delicious versions of paella. The chorizo here is grown from animals down in the town, which is southwest of Tingledom proper, which is also where the chickens come from. This is then processed in a facility right here in Tingledom, the old-fashioned way. So it has a very personalized touch. Every detail has been scrutinized, so you get that delicious, perfect, authentic flavor. Of course, we also have our chunks of chicken within this paella, which are farmed in a free-range farm. The chickens are allowed to scratch and dust bathe. You can actually go out and visit the farm and see what a quite happy life they are able to live prior to being used as a food source as well. So the chorizo and chicken are the base materials in this wonderful paella. Now, if you know anything about paella, it's cooked in a large, I'm making a very small, but it's about this large. Probably could come and get around you. We wouldn't be able to fit it all. We're too close together. A very large paella pan, and it here at the paelleria in Tingledom, we do cook it over an open fire, so it gives us that lovely smoky smell. So the chicken and chorizo are cooked first. Then, of course, we need to add olive oil. The olive oil comes from orchards which are to the south of Tingledom, just to the west of the lake. Yes, but a bit more south than the lake. Yeah, a little bit further out is the olive orchards. So there is also a farm visit there that you can do. You can actually go and help with, getting the oil out. It's a bit of fun. All of these are done by hand extraction. Just the smell of that's making my tummy go crazy. But you, don't worry. Enjoy your food. The oil is extracted by hand, every drop squeezed out. And of course we do have other products that are made with the flesh left over as well. Yes, well, they do. We don't actually use them here because we're all about paella. But that olive oil, the Tingledom olive oil, it's so fresh and so good. Doesn't get much better than that. Now, of course, with our olive oil, we use that to soften and cook our red peppers, our onions, and our garlic. Now these come from a couple different spots. The onions and peppers are actually grown in the greenhouses at Tingledom Castle. There's quite extensive greenhouses on the property of the castle, which you may know if you've been over there. And they have the best soil. When you walk into the greenhouses, the smell of just that beautiful earthy smell greets you. And that's where the capsicums are grown. The onions are also grown on site, but they don't need to be grown in the greenhouses. They're grown just out on the property in the gardens there. So we get very fresh, very local onions and red peppers. The peas are actually grown over in the foothills of the mountains because it's a little cooler up there. So perfect environment for peas, particularly this time of year. So they are shelled by hand, and these were freshly picked last week, I think. They were shelled today, picked. I'm trying to think. See, Lucinda was over. She stopped by with a chat. It was just 2 days ago. I'm really getting mixed up with my days. So that's where the peas come from. I've gotten ahead of myself, as I want to do. Now, of course, we need some lovely flavoring. Oh, I skipped the garlic, didn't I? All over the place. We've done chorizo, chicken, olive oil, onions, red peppers. Now to the garlic. The garlic is actually grown up in the north of Tingledom. Oh yes, beyond what your typical tourist maps show. Yeah, it's well, just as the olive oil map, the olive oil spot is actually below the tourist maps as well. The ones that don't show, all of Tingledom. And we are on a rather large island here. But up to the north, a lovely little garlic area. There's actually a huge variety of heirloom garlics grown there. This is kind of a purple striped garlic. Has a very strong garlic flavor, which you can probably detect. But a little bit of subtle, yes, exactly. It's lovely. I think it just adds a nice, obviously with all the other flavors here, you want it to kind of meld into the background while still imparting that traditional garlic flavor. So we have the garlic as well. So if you're imagining our huge paella pan, we first basically just brown the chorizo, then those are removed. The olive oil is put in there. Then we put the chicken in, get that all nice and golden brown. Then we'll add in the onions, the red peppers, and the garlic. Cook that till it's nice and softened. Then comes our next batch of items to be added. So in the next batch of items, we have our tomatoes, our rice, our chicken stock, and our 2 spices. So let's go through those. The tomatoes. Look like you're enjoying that. No, it's okay. I had something to eat a little earlier, and I'll eat a bit later. The tomatoes, they are also grown in the hot houses up at the Tingledom Castle. Now, these ones we are using just a traditional red tomato, but up at Tingledom Castle they do have a huge variety for us to choose from. This is still a beautiful heirloom variety, grown for flavor. What we find is a lot of people from throughout the world don't actually know what flavorful tomatoes taste like, since I think it's quite common nowadays for supermarkets and that sort of thing to promote the growing of tomatoes that ship well on trucks and that sort of thing. But obviously, since we just basically walk up to the castle, that's not much of a concern for us. So we are just looking for optimum flavor. So you're probably noticing that tomato flavor is strong, robust, and oh so delicious. But we've got all sorts of varieties that are grown there. But I think the paella is really suited to that really traditional, prototypical red tomato, even though there are orange and green and black Russians and all sorts of yummy tomato options out there. We stay with a pretty classic tomato for our lovely paellas. Yes, it is a wonderful choice, isn't it? So we have the tomatoes, and then the rice. Yes, so, well, you'll find out in a moment, but not everything from our paella actually comes from within Tingledom, but our rice does. There are rice paddies, and they are tucked away on the west side of the island. So, Tingledom proper, and you know there's that desert area. Well, way past the desert area, there are rice paddies that we have. And so we grow our own varieties of rice here. And you'll see wild rices, but this is just a nice, beautiful white rice. Yeah, really, the starch content is perfect for paella. Now our chicken stock comes again from our farm. The farmers there are so lovely. They're real hoot. It's definitely worth going and visiting the chicken farm. And you can just go and feed the chickens as well. It's lots of fun. So we use everything here. We are big believers in minimal amounts of waste. So all of our chicken stock uses pieces and extracts that flavor and nutrients from those pieces that might otherwise not get used. And it's a rich and beautiful, I mean, I could just drink the chicken stock on its own, which is why I feel good enough putting it in our paella. Now the spices within our paella, we have a turmeric and a cumin, and both of these are imported. Now of course, anything we use here we want to make sure is the finest of quality. So our head chef has actually gone to different locations throughout the world. We have chosen the best locations for these to be sourced from. So you'll know you're getting the very best. And so that is basically what will happen. We had the rice and the tomatoes, the cumin and the turmeric, and then the chicken stock, which makes it liquid, that fills it up, and then we just let it cook. One of the most important ingredients, this really comes from a method, is the sauerkraut. This is what promotes the flavor development in a paella. This is these grains of rice which get toasted along the bottom of the pan as the paella is cooking. And this infuses the paella with almost a magical extra flavor. If you have a paella without sauerkraut, it will feel just like the individual parts, whereas when you have that sauerkraut, it brings everything together, and it feels like so much more than just the sum of the parts. It then becomes paella. And that is the story of your beautiful paella meal. The peas are mixed in right at the end after that sauerkraut is formed, and the chorizo is put back in as well. And then it's kept warm